Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Catherine Lorimer's Guide to Life podcast. So I did forget how much music I usually do, but hey, do you know what? It's January, and Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and New Year. I had a lovely Christmas. It was great. Spent a lot of it with my partner, it was just magical. And also his lovely daughter and family, all very welcoming, and also my parents and my cousin and aunt. A big shout out though to my cousin Dan Surf in London, right? It's not been too great, so I hope you're feeling better. Thanks very much for listening. I know you love the show and the Instagram posts. Oh, and check out Cal Art, C-A-L Art, because I've been putting all my arty stuff on there. I'm probably going to be focusing more on art and stuff like that this year than anything else. So hopefully, you'll enjoy seeing some of those. So just to mention that one. So I hope you've all had a really, really great time. What I tend to do this time of year, I tend to reflect on things. And there's been a few things that kind of, a bit of a few shocks and things like that happened. Weren't expecting it. And do you know what? As I put the Christmas decorations away, okay, and I put some tinsel in the box, and I thought, I'll use those next year for Christmas and attach them to Merlin's Mane and do a Christmas ride with Santa, because I didn't get a chance to do it this year. I was going to. That's why there's no photos of it, because things happened, and one of my friends unfortunately lost her horse just before Christmas. So do you know what? It just didn't feel appropriate. It just didn't feel the right time, so I didn't do that. But then I thought to myself, as I was packing everything in a box, we always kind of do this, don't we? We say, do you know what? I'll do it next week, or I'll do it next year. And actually, what if it doesn't come? What if it doesn't happen? And what if you can't do it? Because I know, I'd say it's a time for reflection. I know my friend Jane and I, we had all these plans about things we were going to be doing with Tango and Merlin last year. And then I couldn't walk properly, and then I couldn't ride, and I was in absolute agony with my SI joint issues, of which I'm still undergoing physiotherapy for now. That's been a year, so this gives you an idea of how serious it has been. As I was carrying a hay net across the yard, I thought, well, do you know what? Okay, I'm still in a bit of pain every now and again, and I haven't cantered the pony for about 6 months, but at least I can carry a hay net without being in significant agony. So for me, that's a step forward. But we had all these plans about what we were going to do. We were going to go on long distance trail and go and do more fun rides and stuff like that. And then unfortunately Jane lost Tango, and we did one fun ride. And although I couldn't really walk properly after doing that ride, for quite some time afterwards, I'm glad I did it, because that's the last chance to do it. But I didn't know that at the time. And I guess, this time of the year, I always it's really important, I think, to reflect on yourself, reflect on the year, think back, the highs and lows. And it was, there was lots of highs in my year, but there were lots of lows as well, but that's okay. Okay. And what you need is, friends and family around you. I mean, I'm going to say family, but sometimes you are maybe surrounded by people who, just because they're the family, you don't necessarily feel connected to, do you know what? That's okay. But if that is the case, then you do need to have friends around you, because we all need people, and people need each other. I mean, people cause each other stress and anxiety. They're the main causes. If you think about any time you felt sort of stressed and anxious, I bet you it's a person that's probably caused that. And it's a person's behaviour or something that they've said to you. And as I say, so going into 2026, I'm not going to say, right, I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to do it now. But it's a good time. I always reflect on where I am and what I want to achieve. I set myself some goals. I want to do more artwork. I'm going to do less this year. Less going out. Okay, I've block booked one weekend every year to go away with my partner. And I've done that, and so that's all kind of block booked off in my calendar. We went through and we did that. So that's some dedicated time to spend with my partner all year, okay? Which is great, that particular weekend, 1 month every single year. Because he gets really, really busy as well, and he does more than me, and he can pack all his stuff in. Also, I'm learning to play golf. I've signed myself up for some golf lessons when they start. Getting women into golf. That's all sorted out. So, because that's going to be a really good way for me to make new friends. Because my partner, it's the golf club my partner's at. Because he is going to be, I need to make more friends in that sort of area. So that's quite important to me that I do that. I'm going to concentrate more on my art. It's the year of the horse this year, although we're not there yet. It's the Chinese year of the horse. So Jane and I are going to take Merlin out, and we're going to go and do some shows and stuff. And she's going to compete him as well as me, so that if I have an issue, okay, where I can't ride because I'm in too much pain, then she can still do it, okay? Because also I'm conscious that, she's like 20 years older than me and I'm 52. So, so it's like, I don't know, it's a bit of a wake up call to like, just be, to carry on, to do more stuff, but not do too much. Does that make sense? But say art's definitely a big thing that I'm going to do. I've got lots of paintings that I want to do. I've given quite a lot out for Christmas. I've got a few more that I really, really want to do. I want to, and I want to get them done, and I want to finish writing my book as well. So again, I'm going to do less, but I'm going to do more with the time that I'm doing less. I'm not just going out and doing stuff. Okay. I'm going to go and, I will be doing some stuff, but I will be kind of, doing more of the things that I want to do, while I still can. And I think that's, that's really important, isn't it? Because we don't know, do we, what's around the corner, and I think it's important to spend the time while we have it and while we're still here to spend the time, doing the things that you like to do with the people that you want to do it with. So that's a kind of I always have a bit of a reset, a January reset, but as I say, not everybody does this. They don't maybe necessarily analyse themselves. You can tell this is going to be a waffly one, can't you? I don't even know what day it is. Hang on. It's a Tuesday morning. Obviously it's not after New Year, because I've recorded it, and I'm actually going away for New Year. So I'm looking forward to that. You can find out where I am, in the next podcast, or maybe the one after. No, it's the next one actually. So just have it. I mean, I just sort of sit down and think, right, okay, what worked, what didn't, what do I want to do more of? And I think it's important to kind of analyse yourself, see where you are, what were you not happy about, which bits of your life because I quite often do that. I'm like, I actually did a list. I've no idea what I've done with it. Probably chucked it out, but in my head, I did a mental list of things that I was happy with, okay, in my life last year. And what do I want to do more of those things, okay, that make me happy? And what things caused me the most stress last year? What was it that kind of didn't work or I didn't enjoy doing? And I've got a plan to stop doing those things. And it wasn't necessarily something that I personally did. It was other people that caused me the issues. Because, we have all these great ideas, don't we? And people say, right, yeah, you need to go and do this, and you go and do this, go and do that. And then you go and do this and that. And actually, you enjoy doing the things that are this and that, but there's always that person, isn't there, that sort of makes you stop enjoying it. And I had an incident this year where I was, I won't say what it was, but it's something that I do voluntarily. And I was like in a situation where somebody actually had a go at me in the street, because I'd been too busy, and because I hadn't put enough time in. This person's retired, okay? I'm really, really busy person. I work a lot, but I'm really capable. So people rely on me to do things. And I kind of thought, we'd had a meeting which has gone really, really well. And then she just went, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, do I need that in my life this year? And I don't. And so there's a big thing coming up, which I haven't told anybody about yet, apart from John, my partner, John. His name's John. I think I've told you that anyway. So I've told him what my plan is. But sometimes it's difficult to walk away from things, isn't it? It's quite hard. But if you found yourself in a situation where, where you're not happy and things are causing you stress, because at the end of the day, these things are supposed to be enjoyable. And for me last year, it really wasn't that enjoyable. It caused me a great deal of stress. I don't particularly enjoy confrontation, and certainly not in the street. It was a little bit awkward because 2 police cars ended up turning up. They didn't get out or anything, but it was just kind of like, right, okay, they're there just in case. It was quite reassuring. But it was just, I don't know, it wasn't pleasant. And also, is that an appropriate place to have that conversation? No, not really. And we do that, don't we? Sometimes things get on top of us and we have the conversations. And I've done it myself in the past. I've picked inappropriate moments to have a go. So I had another incident as well where there was a WhatsApp group, and I'd put a post up on social media, and one of the people in the WhatsApp group didn't agree with my post, okay? If you don't agree with my post, which has happened, it's fine, that's okay. I usually get a personal message, okay, from my friends to say, right, I don't think you should have done that. I don't think you should have said that because it comes across blah, 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 blah. And there's one friend in particular that's always doing that, but that's okay. It's great that she does that because she cares. This person doesn't know me very well, and she had a rant in the WhatsApp group, okay, and I felt humiliated in front of all of my friends. And not only that, the person that set up the WhatsApp group, I've done an awful lot to help this person this year overcome certain things. And she does have issues and she really struggles. So she then felt absolutely awful because that's not the reason why she set up the WhatsApp group, but the fact that this person who's quite new to the situation, used that as a kind of like to try and get people to turn against me, which was not particularly pleasant. It didn't end up well for this person because no one really supported her. And that's possibly why you may have seen I got a rather large bouquet of flowers, and that was from my friends. Another friend, actually, not the one that set up the group, somebody else who I've been helping throughout the year. And to say, actually, you know what, you are, loved, and we do care about you and we do appreciate you, and here's how much. And you know what, that was lovely. And I didn't have to say anything else, because my friend said it all for me. And which also says a lot. There's a line in the Muppet Christmas Carol which says, it's a song, isn't it? If you want to see the mark of a man, you simply count their friends. Well, you don't actually necessarily count all their friends, because it doesn't really matter how many friends you've got. But it's the ones that you do have that stand up for you in those situations and say, actually, hey, do you know what? You mean an awful lot to me. And that was really great. So thanks friends for doing that. I know a couple of them certainly listen to this particular this podcast. So that's great. I know it sends one person to sleep, which is absolutely fine. Do you know what? If I help one of my friends sleep when they're not struggling, I'm happy with that. I don't mind. Apparently I've got quite a calming, relaxing voice, which is great. Okay, so what else do I kind of look at? Look at finances, okay? How are finances looking? What do we need to work on? Are we okay? Are we in debt? Have we got any credit card debt? People do. They run up credit card debt over Christmas time. I perhaps have slightly overspent where I should be, but it's all on a spreadsheet. And also you've got heating bill costs. Anybody who doesn't know, the price of hay is equivalent to gold this year. Because there was we haven't got any grass. Well, I'm quite lucky actually. We're at the yard that I'm on. We have grass. We manage the paddocks, and We're still using last year's hay, which is particularly good position to be in, which is to say that's okay. But the cost of hay has gone up, all these costs keep increasing, but unfortunately salaries aren't necessarily increasing with them. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle, if I'm honest, to manage and keep my little house and my pony. It is a big struggle for me. But we'll get there, it's a choice. And also I'm sharing my pony with my friend now. And she's like so dependent on him. So we'll find a way through it and it'll all be okay in the end. But have a look at your finances. And if you're not happy with your situation, get some help with it. There's loads of places out there. I remember one of my relatives years and years ago, he had credit card debt and various debts for this and that. And he went to see a specialist person and he got some advice and he got all his loans consolidated into one. And it was all sorted out, and he learned from that. He's actually now got a fantastic job. He's quite senior in a rather large building company. And, he's, he's happy. He's doing really, really well for himself. And he's really happy, which is good. It's also a time to reconnect with people. I've reconnected with somebody. And I think one of my I've known this person since I was 4 years old. And you kind of grow apart sometimes from people and your life moves on. And then we reconnected when I moved back down to Cheshire. And actually, she's had some issues this year to deal with. And she's really appreciated my continuing WhatsApp messages. Now, she is an amazing artist, but she hasn't drawn or painted for years. And I've been sending her my little paintings going, right, what do you think of that one? What's that one? What needs that? And I have to say a massive shout out and thanks to her help with, I don't know if you've seen my Daisy picture, which is on social media. If not, go and find it and have a look at it. It took me about 3 months to do that. And a lot of that was me messaging her going, right, what do you think now? And she's like, right, add more shading in that area. And she's been absolutely fantastic. But not only that, she's asked for some art stuff for Christmas. So, do you know what? To have inspired her to start drawing again and doing art again is absolutely brilliant, because I think she'll really benefit mentally from this, from doing that. Because one thing I've learned about doing art is that you're focused on what you're doing. So I go to art classes, not every single week, purely because of time constraints. And I try and get there twice a month anyway. And I kind of focus on doing, so you spend sort of 3 hours doing art, but I've also been doing more at home as well. So focus for 3 hours and sometimes even like an hour a day. So your mind is then engaged in doing something for an hour a day. So you don't tend to, it kind of like you disassociate from all the stresses of life. It is a bit like playing golf. You kind of wander around the golf course for 4 hours having a conversation and chatting, and you don't really think about life and all the stresses of it. And it's the same sort of thing. So if you don't have that situation in your life and you think you need it, we'll find it. Horse riding is supposed to be that. For me, it hasn't been for a bit, but it's getting to this stage now because we've done so much work on my pony. He's now 10 and he's awesome. I've got, people, somebody else borrowed him the other day. Their horse was being a bit naughty and good old Jane hopped on it from the ground. It's about 16.3. But she's 72. I'm like, I was telling, we were discussing this with a friend of mine. And so she said that, they should definitely, she said this, the scientists should definitely study Jane. Because that's pretty impressive. I couldn't get on a horse that big from the ground when I was younger, let alone now at 52. The fact that she leapt on, and then the other person got on my pony and fell in love with him immediately, which is really flattering, because it's great that to have produced from scratch a pony that everybody loves, which is fantastic, and I'm really, really proud of that. So now is the time to kind of go out. He's 10 now, so now's time to go out and show him off to the world. So that's what Jane and I are going to form a plan, and we're going to go and do that this year. So look out for those posts and stuff. I may well do some podcasts about that. I certainly will do a lot of social media on that. It's probably going to be a lot of it's going to be on YouTube. So you might have to go and check out my YouTube channel. I'll let you information, and I'll probably share it. Can I do that? Can I share my YouTube stuff onto Instagram? I don't know. I can't know. But anyway, it'll be out there. We're going to be doing lots of video stuff because that works well on YouTube. Just short clips, maybe it's not some long ones. So that's the plan for this year. So I've got a plan. I'm also encouraging other people to get plans as well about what they're going to do. I'm hoping to start selling some art stuff. But that means I need to put the work in. And I've learnt this year that I want to be able to sell some Christmassy stuff, but I need to be able to do the Christmassy stuff kind of at midsummer. So I've already got some ideas. I might even start doing some now about stuff that I need to get ready for Christmas for next year. So life is really good, but it hasn't been. And I don't kind of want to, and the thing is, I used to kind of think, it's going too well, life's really, really good. And, something will happen and it will affect you and it will go wrong, because that's what happens. But, the point is to go and enjoy everybody around you and everything while they're still there. Okay. And that's the message that I want to sort of send out. Evaluate yourself a bit like you would do, because I know we all get their yearly reviews, don't we, at work? And they say, well, you need to work on that more and let's set your objectives. So I guess these are my SMART objectives. So SMART, for anybody who's never come across SMART objectives, it's specific, measurable, achievable, is it realistic and timed? Okay, so you've got to set yourself some objectives that you can actually achieve. Because if you set something yourself that's unachievable and you don't achieve it, you don't feel great about it. So just set yourself some small goals that you can achieve. So, for example, say mine are painting more, try and get one painting sold and get stuff ready so that it can go up and try and sell some stuff at Christmas. Might even look to do a craft fair. I don't know. I'm already thinking how I'm going to fit all this in. Go on holiday as well. Make sure you take yourself off somewhere, even if it's only for a couple of days by the seaside, because it'll do you the world of good. Yeah, and even if because everyone sort of set themselves, don't they? Some sort of we set ourselves New Year's Eve resolutions, they're called, aren't they? New Year's resolutions, not New Year's Eve resolutions. New Year's resolutions, it's usually don't drink, or just don't drink as much, or have a dry January. Well, maybe don't have a dry January, just cut down alcohol. Cut it down. I've cut down massively. Don't really miss it. I've had more over Christmas than I do, but I'll go back to not drinking particularly much. I've still got a couple of bottles of wine that I'm probably not going to drink actually, that are in my parents', they're not in my parents', they're in my wine rack. I'll probably take them to my parents and they'll consume them at some point during the year. Maybe swap them for a couple of bottles that actually I probably will drink. So don't be afraid to kind of self-analyze is what I'm saying, and your situation, and think, is there anything I want to do? Because my partner and I have got a massive list of things we want to do. And I guess, time sometimes runs away really quickly and none of us know how long we've actually got left. So don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. And I think I'm going to really be, kind of quite aware of that sort of saying. And it's something that I'm kind of be like, no, we'll make sure that we do that. And that I don't put things off, because this is the year that I need to go out and do stuff with the pony, do my art and write my book. So they're my personal goals. Okay. You might see a lot less from me on social media. Or you might just see, you probably won't get any long posts. I don't know. I'm probably going to just be doing more art and more videos and stuff, rather than me doing posts and stuff. There might be more on YouTube, just purely because of time constraints. Because the thing is, though, if we decide to do something, okay, we have to realise that it's only achievable if we sort of say, actually, do you know what? I can't do that element, okay? And that's okay. I know it's quite difficult. You feel you're letting people down, but actually you have to kind of put yourself first and sort of say, do you know what? I can't do that anymore. I haven't got time for it. I'm really sorry, but that's just the way it is. Sorry to let you down, but I can't do that anymore. And there are a few things that I'm kind of like, right, okay, no, I'm going to do that and I'm going to cut that down. So don't be afraid to do that. Less is more sometimes. Do less of the things that you don't enjoy and more of the things that you do. That's quite good. I quite like that. I probably heard that somewhere, haven't I? Someone else has probably said that before me. And take some time to unwind and relax if it's not something that you do. Even if it's just an hour listening to some music or watching your favourite movie, nice candle on, just do that, okay? And I know I said I was going to have my Christmas lights on. I've taken them all down. Only because I'm going away and I'm not going to be here. So I've taken them all down, fresh start, and I actually feel quite good about it because I thought, do you know what? I don't need those things up. And the reason I don't need those things up is because I have things to look forward to already in my diary. And I've got a paper diary. It's great. I absolutely love it. I keep forgetting to take it where places with me though. So I'm having to check when I get back. Yeah, actually I can do all those things. It's fine. But yeah, make sure you've got lots of things to look forward to. So for example, in January, it's actually my partner's birthday at the beginning of January, along with my mother's. So I've planned something for January, the first weekend, for his birthday. I planned it months and months ago, and so that's all planned out. And then we're doing something for my mother's birthday the weekend after, so that's all planned out. And the weekend after that, I've booked a theatre show. And the weekend after that, I don't know, but we're already at the end of January, so that's pretty good. And then February, I probably haven't got anything planned yet, but something will come up. And then it's Valentine's Day. My partner actually has booked something for Valentine's Day. He did it in November. Okay, I have no idea what it is, but he's already booked it, so it'll be great. If it's anything like the anniversary meal that we organised, it was absolutely fantastic. I had a really, really lovely evening. It was just great. So have all these things booked, and you don't need to spend that money. You can just say, right, okay, that weekend I'm going to go and see that friend. That weekend I'm going to go and spend it with that friend. That weekend I'm going to spend it with that friend. Because also, and amongst all these things, I've now got to arrange all these competitions with my friend Jane. So already I'm kind of thinking, right, the weekends are going to get really, really busy and really, really filled up. So it's important to sort of have the weekends where you're not doing anything. We've got partner and I have got concerts booked we've got something booked in October next year. We got something in November. I don't know, he has. I'm not sure I'm doing it, but I'm like, oh, excellent, you're doing that in November, so I've got a free weekend. That's how far ahead we actually plan. It's a long way ahead. That way you're constantly planning and you've constantly got something to look forward to. And say it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be like weekends away. It can be a small thing. Go and catch up with the people that you haven't seen for ages. Or if you've never been somewhere and you thought, even if it's up the road and you thought, yeah, I quite fancy going to that place, then make this the year that you go and do that and you go to that place. It's a bit of a motivational New Year January one, because sometimes we need that, don't we? In January, we're Christmas is amazing. I remember last year I booked a weekend away in the Lake District. It was last year, actually, with a group of people. A walking group, and I did that, and I had Christmas, which was really, really nice, and then I went to the Lake District with a group of friends, and I remember my partner kind of getting messages from him going, and I thought, oh, he's a bit down over New Year's, I can tell, and it was a bit of a kind of, he wasn't, because he had so much in December, and then Christmas was fantastic, but then he hadn't really got anything planned, and he was kind of stuck on his own in the living room, not with the dog, on New Year's Eve, and it was a bit of a letdown. So this New Year, he's like, right, let's go and do something. So that's what we're doing this year. So, and I think if you do have a rubbish, but also you kind of, I think over Christmas and New Year there is an expectation to have a really good time. And I was actually talking to a work colleague of mine who didn't have a particularly great Christmas, because of various different things. And I just said, oh, well done for just getting through the day. And I said, I've had some rubbish Christmases as well. This year it was a really good Christmas, but, not all of my Christmases have been brilliant. Some of them have been awful. I was exchanging stories with another friend of mine who on Boxing Day, she's like, oh. I said, are you all right? And she's like, no, not really. So I came out of the stable and gave her a big hug. And we went through the Christmas, and I said, well, I had a Christmas pretty similar one year with my mum going, came in, tried to take over everything, and as she used to do. She doesn't do it as much, but she did a little bit, and I did get a bit cross, and I thought, no, do you know what? Just let it go this year. Just let it go. It's not you, it's her. Just let her get on with it. Don't even bother saying anything. I've kind of got to that stage. I know how to manage her, but it's taken. I said to my friend, it's taken me 50 years to work out how to manage it. And I said, and I ended up, she threatened to leave, and I ended up in tears on Christmas Day, and it was pretty much the same story. So if you listen to this and that's you, it's rubbish, isn't it? It's not great, and it ruins the whole day, but you can't choose your relatives. Just think it's probably, not you. It's them. That's the way I see it. It's definitely them. Because if you're the one that's in tears, you're the one that actually cares, quite strongly about things. But also see it from their point of view. They might be thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to do this for much longer, so I really want to be able to do it. It could be that, or maybe they're thinking, actually, I really want to take care of you because you look as if you need it, but they're not very good at expressing their emotions. So it could be that. There's lots of different ways to look at things. Not everyone's had a great Christmas. I just remember New Year's Eve. It's like you get people that don't go out all year, and then they go out on New Year's Eve and expect to have a great time, and you get people falling over drunk and everything. So don't expect to have a great New Year's Eve. You don't have to have a great New Year's Eve. Just spend it doing something that you enjoy. We're not actually going out, we're staying in. I've made some Stilton butter and we're having steak. And we've got some champers and some nice bottle of red. And that's New Year's Eve for us this year. And it's going to be great. But last year I was kind of at a party with a group of strangers, but I really enjoyed that in a pub that I'd never been to. And that was really great as well. So I guess I'm just saying, try and make the most of life this year, and make 2026 the year that you kind of make changes. If you thought, do you know, I want to make those changes, I've been putting them off for years, well, actually sit down and make a plan to make the changes this year. Anyway, I've actually gone over the time, which is quite unusual. So I hope you have had a good new year, and happy new year, everyone. And thanks very much for listening, and I'll catch you next time.